Hi again, everybody. So I'm making multiple videos today. You haven't seen me in this shirt because I took a shower from the last one and I've changed. So what we're going to do now is make some meatballs. I have gravy. It's delicious. It's been simmering on the stove for about 3 hours now. Still has a little bit longer to go. So I'm going to make some meatballs, pop them in the oven. I have guests coming in about an hour. When they get here, they're going to have a meatball, and then I'm going to put them to work. These lazy people think they're going to come to my house, have me do all the work. No, I'm just kidding. So we have a really fun pasta making class planned for today. So as soon as they get here, I'm going to have a meatball and then start making some pasta alla mognagna. Okay, I'm going to take you to the stove. I'll show you how I put the meatballs together. All right, so you may have seen me make the meatballs before, but I never really had a dedicated meatball video. So let me show you what I have here. That is pork. It's about 3/4 of a pound of pork. Normally I would just do a half pound to a pound of beef, but I like the pork. The pork has a nice fattiness to it, and it keeps the meatballs from being dry. So 3/4 of a pound of pork, ground pork, and a pound of ground beef. This is grass-fed beef. It looked nice and fatty. I got it at Berkeley Bowl. They didn't say like what the fat percentage was. Usually I want to get like 80-20. You don't want really super lean ground beef because then the meatballs are going to be dry. All right. So I like to mix my meat together first before I start adding everything. I have 2 cloves of chopped garlic, 1 egg, some parsley, which usually I don't use parsley. My mom always used parsley in her meatballs. I skip it because I buy a bunch of parsley and then I end up throwing the rest away. But I have some mint here, so I figure with the mint and the parsley, tomorrow I'm going to make a chimichurri. All right, so I want to try to, let me show you what I'm doing here. Try to chop the parsley as finely as possible. Parsley and cilantro are 2 herbs that I really don't like working with because they just kind of get everywhere. They make a mess. They're messy herbs. All right, so that looks good. I don't like big chunks of parsley in my meatballs, so I really want it to be as fine as possible. Okay, so we got pork, beef, garlic, parsley. Next, some pecorino romano. If you've been watching my videos, you know, locatelli. This is an 8-ounce container. I don't think I want to use all of it. So how much? I don't know. That much. Like, is it really worth saving? Yeah. I don't want to put all of that. Don't ask me why. It's an instinct. I'm being guided by the ancestors. And then the breadcrumbs go last. So I was thinking about this. Like, if you put more breadcrumbs, is it better? Put less breadcrumbs? I don't really know. But I basically just cover the meat with the breadcrumbs. Gonna wet the breadcrumbs with some water and then mix it all together. Oops, I forgot. Black pepper. Maybe not crucial, but I like black pepper with pecorino, locatelli, and pepper. It's always a good combination. I also forgot I wanted to preheat my oven, so let me turn the oven on. Smells like meatballs in here. Just the smell of the garlic and the cheese. It smells like Sunday morning, even though it's Saturday afternoon. All right, so I am going to bake the meatballs. As I have said several times, I like to bake them. It's easier. I don't have to stand over a frying pan. They sometimes stick to the pan. You have all kinds of problems when you fry them. But my mom used to fry her meatballs. And then, I mean, the meatballs are really the main ingredient. So fry her meatballs and then use the drippings from the meatballs to start the gravy. So I didn't do that because I have a lot of bones and ribs and sausage and other things that I used to get my gravy going. I'm making these meatballs. Well, they're a little bit big. You know what? I think, let me start over. I'm going to go smaller because I forgot. We're going to have a little meatball snack. All right. It's not a huge difference, but so I don't roll them like super tight or anything. I've seen like some people even dredge them in flour. If you have your own way of doing it, do it your own way. These videos are not really intended for people who know how to cook. So I'm making these videos for people who don't know. And you want to explore the wonders, the deliciousness of Italian American cuisine, whatever you want to call this. I'm going to make a couple mini ones. Not mini, but smaller. So these are going to be our snack meatballs. I remember my mom sometimes would make like little kid-sized meatballs for us. So if you have kids, they're going to love getting a meatball before you put them in the gravy. All right, there you have it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, so 12 regular sized meatballs and then 4 smaller ones for our snack. Once the oven is heated at 350, I'm going to pop them in for about an hour. All right, my guests are almost here. I just wanted to give you a little peek at the meatballs. They are, I mean, they're done. It's been, I don't know, how long? 40 minutes? So they look good. They've been baking at 350. I turned them over just so I could brown the other side. They look pretty good. I'm actually going to turn the oven off because they're going to cook in the gravy. I just want them to be warm when the guests arrive so they can have a nice little meatball snack.